Hello, welcome everybody, welcome to another video. I'm your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I'll be your captain for today. And as you can see, we have loaded up another PDMG Douglas DC-6 Bravo. We got the Fuerza Aérea Colombiana livery. Got this livery from the flightsim.to website. I do not know the name of the person who submitted this, but I believe there's only one, so you can check it out on the flightsim.to website. It's free for download, and it looks absolutely really cool. So today's flight, we are sitting in Colombia. We're going to fly to Panama. You can hear these ground vehicles. Oh look, it's the fuel truck. But we already have fuel. Thank you, Martin. You can go. Okay, so today's itinerary, we will fly. Let's pull it up because I do not have all this information inside my head. So we're sitting at the José María Córdova International Airport. It is in Colombia, and we will be flying to the Albrook Marcos Gelabert International Airport in Panama. So that is our itinerary in a nutshell. I will also show you the route that we got planned for today. It is another route where we'll be flying VORs only. This little part, not really sure, looks like an airway or something, but highly doubt it. I just don't know why it's called what it is called. But we'll basically take off and fly either towards the VOR or just away from the VOR. It doesn't really matter too much. The point is that we will be using this as a point of reference. So we'll be flying an outbound radio on this VOR for 129 nautical miles. It's to a heading of 325 degrees. And as you can see, we will cross some mountains again, just like yesterday. Yesterday we did not survive, unfortunately, so today I'm going to give it another try, because I'm stubborn like that. But obviously I'm aiming for anything greater than just hit or miss, so hopefully I will improve each flight, obviously. Whether it's an Airbus, it would be relatively simple, but this aircraft requires a lot more care, so and I'm definitely prepared to go that way. Okay, so we'll be flying to the Los Cedros VOR, and from there we'll just carry on. So we'll also fly an outbound radio, and we'll fly to this is La Palma VOR right there, and then we're actually almost there. It's about a 1 hour 43 minutes flight, as you can see right there, and then we go to the Taboga Island VOR, and from there we could line up for our runway. We will check the weather once we're on the way. We can maybe see now actually 310. Yeah, so that looks fine, I guess. So we're going to land to the north. So I'm really happy that this VOR is here, because it looks like, you know, like a nice stepping stone, if you will. So yes, that's going to be the routing. We'll be aiming for around 160 or 16,000 feet, flight level 160. We'll see how the aircraft behaves once we're in flight. So there you have it. We've chosen real world time and weather for today's flight. Let's open up a little window. Always just love doing this. Any excuse I come up with, I use to open the window. So we are here on the flight deck. We're still going to use the services of the artificial flight engineer. He's going to do the initial preparation of the cockpit of the aircraft. I mean, so he's going to do the before start checklist. Today's flight, we will, as I said, we'll fly to Panama. We will actually fly a bunch of business acquaintances, as you could call it, for my boss. We'll fly them to Panama. They had been located here in Colombia for well, for some of them for quite a number of years, and yes, we are going to relocate them. But the hub, like we'll be flying through Panama, and then from there they go on other flights, and they're let loose in the world, so to speak, if you will. So not too much about today's cargo. You know, there's some GDPR rules involved, as you may understand. So it is not of too great a concern to our flight. Our job is simple. It is just to arrive alive. Okay, so we're going to ask the artificial flight engineer to do the before start checklist. Oh, a little more control, thank you.
Completed. Voice recorder. Tasted. Oil coolers and cow flaps. Auto and position. Fuel and fluids. Checked. Pressurization. Set. Manifold and duct pressure. Checked. Radios. Checked. Doors and hatches.
Okay, so we're not going to use this radio,
Closed.
this GPS.
Door warning lights. Out. Gear pins. Removed. 3 on board. Seat belts and pedals. Adjusted. Throttles. Set to idle. Propellers. Forward and 3. Before start checks complete. Start engines.
Okay, so that's the initial setup. Yeah, so as I said, I do not like flying this aircraft with the blue screen GPS. I love doing it, well, somewhat the old-fashioned way, like the truly old-fashioned way. Let me show you. This would actually be the truly old-fashioned way. This is the old radio stack, but PMDG made this completely inoperative. But they did leave it in so that you, I guess, you can have a look at it, because it does look really cool. But nothing works. It's just there. Oh, look! I did something. It looks to be like probably only button it works. Marker beacon, high and low. But the rest of it should actually not be operative, as you can see. You just click away. All right. So yesterday's flight was interesting because the engines seemed a little weird, and then it looked like some of the engines needed some maintenance. That's quite nice, because it makes sense, because in the options we have realistic engine damage, realistic start, realistic carbide sync, realistic CB failure, silence AP disconnect, realistic AP engage. So we got all these well, realistic settings, if you want to call it. And it looked like the engines actually needed some maintenance, so we just did repair engines. So for now, actually, there's no repairing needed, since we did this yesterday. Top up, this is also engine oil, so it's all okay. So yeah, that should be fine. Maybe check the water. This is all. Not sure if this is livery based, how they do this, or it's just because of yesterday's flight. Regardless, we are going to start up the engine. So we come down here and do the usual startup flow. So basically the mixture goes to reach. Then we go up here to the overhead panel. For now, I'm going to open up all the fuel booster pumps, and also going to turn on all the ignitions. Not really sure if in reality there would be a problem if you would do this. Actually, maybe it's not a good habit. But here we are. Engine number 3 has been selected, so we're going to start it.
3, 6, 9,
Prime the engine,
12.
boost, and then it should start. So there you go, we got one engine started. It's engine number 3. These will click back into their original position. And once they're done so, we're going to continue and start engine number 4.
3, 6, 9, 12.
And there you can hear engine number 4 starting as well. So you start to the right side first. You start from the inner engine to the outer engine, and then you go to the left side where you repeat the same. You start from the inner engine, it's number 2, to the outer engine, then is engine number 1. And then we should have 4 engines up and running. So engine number 2 selected, we started.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Okay, we got to go for engine number 2 start. Select engine number 1. And there was an interesting issue yesterday where I was unable to reverse the aircraft from the parking position. And it could have something to do. I forgot the name. What was the name now? I forgot the name, but it could have something to do with the. Well, I can show you. Well, let's just first start the engine, and we'll get to that.
3, 6, 9, 12.
Sounds like engine number 1 also just started. So here we have it. Fuel pressure is present on all 4 engines. Oil pressure also. And the oil temperatures are rising for all 4 engines. So engine 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the issue that I had yesterday on taxiing could be that there's a locking mechanism right here, and could be that it needed to be disengaged. I'm not really sure, so maybe it's not going to work again today. Let's have a look outside quick. So I'm not really sure why it didn't happen yesterday. Who is this? I cannot see the person. Alright, okay, no problem. Now let's go ahead and give our artificial flight engineer some place to sit. It's not going to be a very long flight, but nonetheless it would be nice if they could sit, right? Okay, so we have started up the engines, which means that we're pretty much ready for departure. So any questions before we go? Okay, no, so then we just go. We can do the after start checklist now.
Start selected, boost pumps. Off and off. Battery switch. Plane venting. Generators and inverters. Check and on. Emergency lights. Off. Ground power. Removed. Off to start checks complete.
Okay, so the after start up checklist has been completed as well. Now, I do not want the same as yesterday, and I'm not referring to the crashing. We can go into that in a minute. But there was also some, not as bad, but still there was some ice forming. Hopefully if we turn these things on right now, that might just prevent it altogether from happening. But I'm not really sure. It's going to be an experiment, so we're going to find out. Maybe in this aircraft there's always bound to be some ice forming, I do not know. So yeah, that's why I said we'll just find out. Let's see how that goes. One thing I would like to do before we actually start taxiing is have a little look at the first VOR, because we will need to know the frequency. And where is the frequency? I was looking at the wrong thing. It's the Mike Romeo November. That is 113.0. Alright, so we got this 113.0. There you go, that's on. And it's having DME readout as well. Okay, so before we go, I would like to push back. You can actually just drive reverse in this aircraft. I'm going to start by disengaging this locking mechanism. And there you see it's coming off. I mean, the throttles are actually moving in the other direction, but not really sure how this works, so maybe it's actually not even a solution. I have reversed in the aircraft before, but it's also happened a couple of times where I didn't think I was doing anything else, but it was still, and then it was suddenly not reversing. So anyway, what you have to do is that reverser bar. Let's first put the engines to idle, and then you can operate the reverser bar. Okay, Gabriel, we're ready. Excuse me for that. Okay, so we're really close to the runway. Okay, so let's see if we can pull back now. I'm going to release the parking brake and see if we can get a reverse roll going on or not. And I'm feeling like it is not going to do it again. And if that's true, then I actually do not know why. I used to be able to do it before. We're almost at full reverse, at least going by the sound. Yeah, so this makes no sense to me at all. I have no clue why this is the case. What we can do, request a pushback. And there we go. The tool that we're using is a free tool. Downloaded, I believe, also from the flightsim.to website. It's quite convenient. As you can see, it incorporates right here in the toolbar for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So, you know, that's pretty handy. And it also has some options. Some aircraft thingies. Okay, let's stop the pushback. And let's set the parking brake first and foremost. Yeah, so let's I forget what the name of the tool is. I'm so sorry to the developer. It does say some information here. Can we make that any bigger? No, the letters do not get any bigger. That's such a shame. But just take a good look at what it looks like, and then look it up on the flightsim.to website, and you will see the screenshots there, and you will see this is the same tool that we are using today. Because it's nice, it's a nice tool. So, you know, if it could make your life easier, then go ahead and download it. Okay, so we have our first VOR entered. We'll actually also try, I will also put in the second VOR. We are probably still way too far out, but nonetheless I would like to monitor it on the nav2 radio. And this VOR should be Los Cedros 112.6. So enter that 112.6. So we enter this in the nav2 radio. It is now activated, and it does not look like it's picking up yet. We can also check for the nav2, and there's no DME yet. Nothing to worry about whatsoever. My apologies. Okay. So our runway heading will be towards the south, about 180-ish. Let's see, just checking the chart here real quick. Off the screen. Yeah, so basically we just take off and we fly outbound 325. So maybe just doing this to 325. I do not have the most experience with outbound radials. Especially in this aircraft, actually, I must say. Let's get up a little close here. So 330, 325 should at least be this, but let's just get there. Usually I wing it and it goes quite well. Okay, so we're ready to taxi. I'll disengage the parking brake, and we aim for about 1000 RPM. Nothing too crazy. If you go over it, the aircraft will start shaking like crazy. Now, is it still in reverse or what? Or are we rolling? Oh, there you go. I'm just impatient, Arkady. Okay. So as you can see, just a little more power, just to get it rolling. And I can still bring it back to about 1000 RPM. And the aircraft will just roll. And so the weather is interesting. Looks like we'll definitely hit some of those clouds. So hopefully the preventive action of turning on any and all anti-icing, hopefully that's going to turn out in our favor. This looks really tiny actually. I do not think this is actually for us. This little look at it. I did not plan this very thoroughly, I see. But you know what they say sometimes about South America? You know, sometimes you can make your own rules a little bit. It is definitely not the same as it is in the western part of the world, for instance, where there's a rule written for every 2 rules, there are 3 rules. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and request the before takeoff. We gotta go to flaps.
Windows and turbine.
Let's close the window.
Closed and on. Controls. Dust lock released. Free. Detonator. On. Mixture and cowl flaps. Locked. Set. Transponder. On. Landing lights.
Okay, so the landing lights are coming. We are rolling onto the runway to get ourselves into position.
Extended and on. Before takeoff checks complete.
Okay, so the parking brake is set, and I think we're about ready. I do feel it's a little dark actually inside the cockpit, so I'm going to use the really easy quick button, but obviously there are definitely some light switches scattered everywhere. For now I'm requesting some of the white lights with a little better view. There's some heavy rainfall there. Really dark clouds. There is also some blue patches as well. We are facing south. The aircraft is shaking. Look at it. It's really beautiful. Alright, so enough of the eye candy. We're going to take off and we're going to be on our way to Panama. Where's the artificial flight engineer? And we request a wet takeoff.
Water injection. On. 30 inches stabilize. 30 inches stabilize. Stabilized. Cal flaps. Cal flaps. Cal flaps set. Full power, please. Going full power.
So they go full power now. Once full power is achieved, we're going to release the parking brake and I believe our takeoff speed is about 17 knots. 107, excuse me, 107 knots.
Full power set.
Full power set, release parking brakes, and let's leave Colombia behind, and we're off to Panama. So these guys have been sitting here in Colombia way too long. It was not always by choice. So we're about reaching our V1 speed, so very easily lift up a little bit, and that's it, we're off the ground.
Master ring, gear up. Gear selected up. Gear up, lights up.
Gain a little more speed here.
Flaps up. Flaps going up.
Once the flaps are up, you will see the speed starts increasing quite significantly. We're holding climb altitude of, it's dropping a little. I was saying of 1100 feet per minute. But obviously the flaps are up, so the nose will drop a little bit. So we compensate. And it's not VFR conditions actually. Look at that. So let's hope we do not fly into any mountains.
Climb power. Setting climb power.
We're going to climb a little bit steeper, around 1500. I try not to go over it too much.
Climb power set. Time to take off checklist, please.
Set the altimeter, a little late, better late than never. So maybe we first just fly a heading 325, or shall we just fly straight first to the VOR? Maybe we just do that. We fly to the VOR, so the VOR is on our left. See how we get there if we do this. There we go. So let's engage the gyro pilot. Hopefully this does not interfere with our climbing, but I believe it should not. So the aircraft should now start to turn, if I'm not mistaken. And there you go, it's turning. And hopefully it's going to turn to line us up with the VOR. Should be 9 or 0, I believe. No? What am I doing? I'm already crashing us. Okay, so it looks like we're flying straight to the VOR now. So let's have a look at our situation. Speed steady, a little over 160. We're still climbing. Climb rate is not too great. Let's increase that just a little bit. Looks like that's really cool. The nav2 radio just kicked in. So it's a pretty strong VOR. So that's good. Let's just first gain some altitude here. We're 3.5 nautical miles from the local VOR. Still climbing. Again, increasing a little bit of the climbing rate. Okay, so finally we are up above the clouds here. So that's very good. Okay, so the VOR 1.8, 1.7. Let's have a look outside. Sometimes you can see the VOR station, but right now there's mostly clouds. So let's turn to the VOR now, to VOR2. Let's just use the nav1 for this, 112.6, 112.6, so we flip it over. And we give the gyro pilot another nudge. It should now start turning towards the VOR. Obviously we will have to set the heading, I believe. Let's check. So it's about 325. That seems to add up from our current position. Yeah, so yesterday when we took off, we hit a lot of mountains, and they were really high. And there was also a lot of clouds, and at some stage I actually had to make a choice, and I simply banked left to steer clear of the mountains and to look, to fly to some blue patches of sky. And yes, and then unfortunately during our final approach, I made an error in the energy management, which resulted in me bringing back the throttle a little too far. So today I'm going to try and have a little more throttle going on our final approach. Yes, we are still climbing. What is our altitude now? We're reaching 15,000 feet. Let's see if the altimeter is still the same. So let's just keep on climbing while we can. Preferably we end up above these clouds that are in front of us. But this is good. It's nice to have a VOR that far out picking up. So it looks like we took off like this, and then to the north was the VOR here, and then now we're flying to the to actually the next one. Hopefully this really small one there is also powerful, but I would not really assume so. But we will see once we get there. I'm going to tune this 113.1. I'm doing the same. We put it in the nav2 radio 113.1. And then as soon as, oh look, I think it's, is it also picking up? Are you kidding me? Let's check it. $118 nautical miles and 160 nautical miles for the first. Does that make sense to us? I know I'm not the math wizard, but these are not about 2 or 3 nautical miles apart, right? Let me double check the frequency, because it's something that I sometimes mess up. 113.1. There's a good chance I entered something else. Oh, it's really 113.1. Okay, well. So if anyone has any ideas, maybe I interpret this all wrong, but looks like the nav1 is 112.8 distance. The nav2 is 122. Okay, that would make sense. I would guess I looked wrong. 122 and 11. Yes, it's about 10 nautical miles. Okay, no problem. I take everything back. I offer a full and complete retraction. The imputation was totally without basis in fact and was in no way fair comment, and I hereby solemnly swear to I don't know, sorry. I'm just sorry, okay? I just apologize. Okay, so enough yoking. But this is good news, because now we have at least 2 VRs that we can track. So just now following this one. Speed's dropping a little bit. It's probably not too insane. Let us drop the nose a little. We are now climbing at 700 feet per minute. And look, there's still some clouds. There is actually little forming of the ice right there on the window. So let's bring the nose back a little. Maybe we can use this for that purpose now. There you go. Okay, so we're climbing at 500 feet per minute now. Climbing through 18,300 feet. I'm still not convinced what is actually the operating ceiling of the PDMG DC-6. I've read it was supposed to be around 200 and like a flight level 210, and someone else said it's 250. I guess I should just check the operating manual. And why not just pull them up right now? See if I can find any information. Introduction, tutorial, what is POH, so the pilot operating handbook. Operating restrictions and limitations. Let me have a look at the airplane, see what's going on. So I was actually looking at the PDF file there. So yes, there is definitely some ice forming. So maybe it's just normal. But nonetheless, it's always better to have all the anti-icing engaged, because it might not become as bad, and secondly, it might as soon as the temperatures and the conditions change, it might go easier, quicker as well, because since the windows are already maybe a little bit warmer. I believe there might also be the option, I've experimented but not really sure if it worked. There is also here, how do I get my view proper here? Temperature control, I believe is for the cabin. So what I did in a sheer panic was just turn it up all the way. But obviously it's going to be very hot in here, so let's just keep it somewhere out there then. But I may have to look this up at a later stage. Okay, so what's the current situation? Speed a little over 140, it's about 150, a little under. We are still climbing. By now we are climbing 400 feet per minute. At this altitude that's fine with me. We're on our way to flight level 200. Let's see if there you go, we can reset the altimeter to standard QNH. So we are now at 19,000 feet, or flight level 190 actually. And we're 97 nautical miles from our first VR. You know, part of me doesn't mind that the ice is coming, because it makes it, I don't know, it makes it look so realistic, you know what I mean? You know, you look out the window, you're like, man, it must be really cold outside, you know? I can just imagine placing the back of your hand on the window and just feeling, you know, like, man, this is really cold out there. Especially at these speeds. Okay, so far so good. Still not completely clear of the clouds if you ask me, but definitely a lot better. Now I'm not really sure what the weather is going to be at our destination. If it's you know, all covered in clouds, it's going to be another challenge. I know there is the possibility to do an ILS approach. I do not have the experience really. I experimented with it once. We could look up the chart for our destination, and destination airport Papa Mike Papa Mike Golf. So look this one up. Let me pull up the charts for this and see what do they have in terms of arrival. Well, let's just go to the approach chart. So there is a runway 01. Yeah, visual. Oh, there you go, it's visual. So really there's no ILS. There's the Taboga Island. I believe that is where we're this is our last VOR, I believe. Max 3,000 feet. Oh, is it 3,000 feet and max 160 knots? Not max 3,000 feet, but I think they advise you to be at 3,000 feet. Let's see at the VOR Taboga TBG. Is there a vertical profile? No, it doesn't look like there's a vertical profile underneath. Conditions upon initial contact with ATC, request RNF visual runway 01, notify ATC when the airport or proceeding traffic is in sight as soon as possible. If no visual reference at the ETOLA, go around. Okay, so once we reach the ETOLA point and we have no visual reference, we are supposed to be going around. Which is only going to complicate things for me, but sure. So what else can we see? So they go 1900. What's the airport elevation? 31 feet. Runway is at 17 feet above sea level. Final approach course is 006. But yeah, as I said, it doesn't look like they have an ILS, so let's just hope for good weather. In theory, there's always the possibility, of course, to just disengage, you know, just switch the weather. But, you know, it would be so much nicer to just keep the weather on as it is, you know what I mean? Just for challenge's sake. This is now real world weather that we're using, so, you know, it just would be nice. Obviously, in real life, you know, you're not just going to take off and, you know, fly like $100,000 aircraft, you know, just figure, oh, well, we'll just see if we can land, yes or no. I mean, I'm carrying my boss's precious business acquaintances with me. Okay, so the aircraft starts moving a little bit as if it's windy. So let's have a look at the conditions. 81 nautical miles, so that's all okay. We are still sort of climbing, but yeah, maybe we should just go for the level flight. Let's have a look there. I'm gonna go for a level flight. So what we'll do, this button right here is going to hold the altitude for us. Like there you go. You can see this will now try to settle at 0. So we're not climbing and we're not descending. So now that we are at the end of our climb, we're going to request from the artificial flight engineer he prepares cruise stage.
Power is set. Cruise checks are complete.
Okay, so the cruise checks are complete. So the aircraft is now configured, if you will, for the cruising stage of the flight. And I believe the speed will now slowly increase. And you can see it's increasing already. Now with regards to our descent, we will go over this in a minute and try and see if we can work what we can work out with regards to the timing of our descent. Looks like we are still right on our course. We're on the track, so that's good. It's better than just putting in a heading and being blown to the left or to the right of your track. You know, now at least we know we're following a track over the ground. So in theory, and hopefully not only in theory but also in practice, we should be somewhere on one of these magenta lines. So we are flying this leg, and we are, let me quickly check in the cockpit, we are 69 nautical miles. So this is about halfway. A little before halfway, so I don't know, maybe around here or somewhere. Yesterday I found out with these charts, if you zoom in, you can see 7,000, 8,000, it's in really dark numbers, but you can definitely see something. That really helps in getting a little bit of an idea how high these mountains are. Now once we reach, let's have a look, we're going to descend at cruise speed. That should be about, let's say about 300 knots airspeed, ground speed. Let me get back to you on this. Basically, you want to figure out when to start your approach. And so today I found out there's a calculation it was when you are descending at 1,000 feet per minute, you'll be, oh, what was it again, man? I believe 1 nautical mile in 60 seconds. Sorry, 1 nautical mile. No, I forget. I believe, was it 60 nautical miles in, no, not in 1 minute. Yes, I think it was 1 nautical mile per minute. I remember it mounting up to 300 knots. What was it again? I forget. There is the usual calculation that you can do. Let's just go back to the aircraft. There is the usual calculation, obviously, that you can do, which is a little simpler. Not that the other one is difficult at all, but usually you would basically check what is our current altitude. So let's say it's 20,000 feet, and you're aiming for 3,000 feet. So you have to descend for 17,000 feet. You multiply 17 times 3, so it's 21 plus 30 is 51, so around 51 nautical miles you would start your descent. But I believe in this aircraft it is a little further. Let me see if I can find what it was again. About 300 seconds, so 5 minutes. That's basically 1 nautical mile a minute. So that would be about 17 minutes of descending. And then I believe you multiply this by 5. So that would be 50 plus 35 would be like 85 nautical miles distance before you start your descent. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. I probably am. I'm really not mathematically oriented. So we're going to descend 17,000 feet. Also, I think maybe actually was 17 times 5. Yeah, I think it should be correct, 85 nautical miles. In either case, you're just going to do it, whether you like it or not. Okay, so at least now we're above the clouds. Yippee-yay. So that's good. And we are distance 4 or 5 nautical miles. See, so the other, at the moment we're not receiving the second VOR there. Unless I, do not turn it off, Arkady. Unless I completely turn it off in the nav2 radio, but I do not believe so. It should be a 113.1, and it's actually still on there. So maybe there was one that was close by. Sometimes I have to believe that's actually, that can happen. So the manual for the PDMG DC-6 covers about 333 pages. So there's quite a lot of information going on there. see if we can find ceiling. Not sure if that's the wording that they're going to use, but okay, so at least the word ceiling is being mentioned, so that is something. But it's compartment ceiling, ceiling of the main junction box, and all that stuff. I could not find it by quickly glancing at the what was it called, the operating restrictions and limitations. You got general arrangement, gross weight limitations versus speed limitations, center of gravity limits, wing and power loading, wet takeoff restrictions, speed limitations, propeller RPM limits, propeller vibration limits, flight load acceleration limits, operating pressure limits, operating temperature limits, electrical system limits, instrument limit markings, taxiing stalls, spins, critical crosswind operation, use of fuel booster pumps, fuel transfer and oil transfer. Extreme weather operation, general, starting a cold engine, windshield anti-icing. Let's have a look at that. The windshield is kept free of ice and frost by hot air diverted from the cabin heating system and circulated between the panes. The system should be operated without limitations anytime conditions require its use. And there's some more information on some more anti-icing systems as well. Okay, so far so good. Speed's picking up. 190 almost. 23 nautical miles. Do we now have the second VOR? Oh, it is back. Maybe they turned it off for maintenance. And this is 112. I guess, okay. Okay, so sorry for the boring screen you've been staring at. Okay, so speed's good. We're above the clouds. And the clouds also appear to be dissipating, so that's also really good news. Still, you know, there's still a lot of clouds, so still a very good chance that there will be clouds at our destination. We could have a look at the chart. Maybe there is some information. I'm not the greatest star at deciphering the meter charts or the meter strings. So they're saying, oh, my eyes are going, man. It looks like the wind has changed actually as well. Is it 2908 knots? Still from the north-ish. Not really, it's a crosswind actually. 250-0350 scattered. 1800 feet. What is it? Broken, ceiling of broken. God bless you. 31 degrees, QNH 1007. No significant change. Okay, well, we'll just see it when we get there, I guess. As long as we, hey look, it's Venus. Venus de Milo. What do you mean cockpit empty? Are you even allowed to say cock on the YouTube? You know, I was thinking about this, you know, like, is it, for instance, it's not okay to say fuck, but it is okay to say fornicate or copulate? You know what I mean? Are you not allowed to say shit, but you are allowed to say feces? You know, I mean, it's all meaning the same thing, you know? I mean, obviously, like, cursing at people, it's not very nice, so I could understand, you know? You have to behave yourself a little bit, right? But, yeah, but it was an interesting thought. Hey there. Yeah, so nice of you to join. So we are, I will show you the aircraft from the outside as well. Have a look. The flight is, Venus is asking how long is the flight, by the way. The flight is not too long, but that is obviously the most vague answer anyone could give you. In total it would be around 1 hour and 43 minutes of en route time. And I think we have covered now about 43 minutes probably, something along those lines. The stream's been going for 1 hour and 10 minutes. We took off fairly quickly after the start of the stream, maybe about 15 minutes or something. So yeah, I think about 1 hour to go, probably, something like that. Today's itinerary is we departed from Colombia and we're flying to Panama. And my boss asked me, Arkady, please take care of some of my business acquaintances that have been located in Colombia, mostly not voluntarily, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so they are now being transported to Panama, and from Panama on there will be other flights to get them to where they actually need to go, to their families, or to, you know, to further do some work for my boss. So that's what we're doing. So we're landing in Panama. Excuse me. and I can show you the flight plan, so you have some sort of idea of what's going on here. So we're now cruising at about 20,000 feet, I believe. So here's where we took off in Colombia, and then we are now on our way to this VOR right here. Let me quickly check, because I actually think we might be there now. Stand by 1 second. So we do not overshoot 12.6 nautical miles, 12.7 C, so we are already past it. So we now need to follow this chubby little line there. So we go and activate that. So now we activate the next VOR, and we simply notch it awake, and now the airplane is going to turn to that VOR, but we do need, I believe, to center it a little bit so that we can follow the track. We can see which track it is that we are flying. So stand by with me 1 second. Okay, so now the autopilot is going to align the aircraft flight path with the track over the ground, which is heading straight to that VOR. Going over Panama Canal, I'm not really sure, but we can have a look. Let's have a look at the chart. There you go, there's the chart. To be fair, I would have no clue which one is the Panama Canal that you are referring to. I do not know. This looks like a really cool little canal. This is our airport. We'll be flying from the south. So yeah, you tell me. Can you see if we're flying, going to fly over the Panama Canal or not? If this is the Panama Canal, then the airport is sitting right at the edge, right at the end of it. But yes, this is going to be today's flight. Or going to be, it's actually already the flight, if you think about it. Today, fortunately, not as much ice. It is actually now completely gone. Earlier we did have some ice, but luckily I already started up all the anti-icing systems before we took off. Oh, it's just the most important seafaring route. Well, does this look like a boat to you? You know what I mean. You're coming here and you're calling me names, man. You know, let my boss, let him not hear this. Okay, so so then, was this the Panama Canal then, Venus? That you could see on the chart, what you refer to as the just most important seafaring route. And you know, this person, this Venus people, at the same time she beating my ass, my behind, my derriere, my rear end, in the word feud, you know. And we switch all kinds of languages, you know, Russian, English, German, Cantonese, you know, what have you. For some reason, you know, I'm just getting I think my behind whooped. You think we're over it the whole time? Let's see if I can get some visuals here on my end. Okay, so it's like the entire region looks to be then the Panama Canal then, if I understand correctly. Let me get back on my stream on my mobile device so that I can follow the chat. So let's look at the chart again. So if I understand correctly, probably the rest of the world already knows, but you know, I don't. So it looks like this entire region is considered the Panama Canal because you can traverse through it and get from point A to B. Okay, so that's cool. So yeah, but then in that case the answer is no, not really. We'll not be really flying over it. We will actually. Yes, I checked the photographs. It makes perfect sense. Yeah, so that's what we're going to see. So, and if the weather is going to be anything like this, we're not going to see anything besides maybe a black screen with a pop-up from the Microsoft Flight Simulator saying you collided with an object and you damaged your landing gear or whatever, you know? Yes, I've checked my mom's message. How did you know? Okay, so it's good. We are now 51 nautical miles, so we should maybe even start considering our descent. As I worked out, when we go over this again, we are going to traverse, we are going to descend about 17,000 feet. What the hell is this? Uchi la fosa coco moody. Which la fosa coco moody? Which la fosa coco moody? Wait. You sit and you wait. La fosa coco moody. La fosa coco moody. La fosa coco moody. La fosa coco moody. Is it some live in-flight entertainment for you people? So what else were the little letters? Actually the other canal is even a bigger deal. Okay, so I'm going to point my attention to the turn my attention to descent. We're going to descend for 17,000 feet, and we'll do this at 300 knots ground speed, which would mean we cover 5 nautical miles per minute, I believe. So maybe my calculation is not correct, but maybe it is. So 300 seconds with. No, this is just. I'm confusing myself, man. I should not even try to do math. So I'm just going to wing it. Have a look at the Skylector. And if we are 50 nautical miles, it does not say how long this leg is. It only says with this one 129. This was about 60 or something. We should be around here maybe. So I believe this would be also another 50. So So maybe when the DME reads about 20 nautical miles or maybe 30, we should start our descent and we should probably be fine. So let's have a look at the DME, what it's saying. It's saying 37.9. So when this reads about 30, let me get a little closer. Excuse me. That you can have a better look. So this is counting down towards the VOR. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment of it sounding good. Obviously, there is some delay on the signal from the stream and the chat, so it is like a slow chat, if you will. But yes, so once this reaches about 30 nautical miles, I believe probably couldn't hurt to start our descent, and that's going to be interesting because there is a lot of clouds, which is not necessarily a bad thing. We'll put up the chart once more. Looking, I'm not expecting any more mountains. These are mountains right there. By the time we're really down, by the time we start our descent, we should probably already be past these, I believe. So this looks all nice and flat. We do have something here which is sitting at 1,000, but we won't be that low. Okay, so that should be fine. So before we start to descend, I'm quickly going to go to the galley and get something to drink. So I will be back in approximately 59 seconds. You may start counting now. Okay, so here we are, we're back. This was not 59 seconds yet. The shortcut between Europe and Asia. Drawing a blank at the name right now. Oh, okay. Which La Fosa Coco Modi. It sounds like you're calling someone's mother something really bad in someone's language. So I do not want to make enemies. Even though our boss takes really good care of us, but, you know. Okay, so let's have a look. 25.7 nautical miles. So we're just going to disengage the altitude hold, which is the one sitting right there. We're not going to change the speed at all. We're just going to watch the attitude indicator, and we're going to set it using this trim wheel for about 1,000 feet per minute descent. Do not go too fast, Arkady, easy. They might be serving coffee in the back. Okay, so we're now around 1,000 feet per minute. Let's go back a little. Doesn't want to sit at 1,000, so just give it one more nudge. It's okay if it goes over a little bit. Okay, so about 1,000 feet per minute, so we are descending. And we can see here as well, we are descending. So that's good, so let's just keep this going. We are 19.6 nautical miles from the next VOR, so let's have a look at what the VOR after that is going to be. So we check the charts. We are now on our way to this little sucker, 113.1 La Palma, and we are aiming for the Taboga Island. It is listening to a frequency of 110.0. So 110.0, we put it in. I'm going to start by putting it in the nav2. 110.0. 0 and make that the active one for the nav 2. And then we can check here and see if it's picking up. I believe it is. The chubby little needle there is probably picking it up. And it's picking up 102 nautical miles. That's good. So we wait a little longer. So also put it in the standby frequency for the nav 1 radio that we are using to navigate today. What was it? 110.0. 110, and there's the decimal 0. Okay, so this is now armed. It's in the standby box. STBY and U. So this is the active one. You can just swap them around like that. Hopefully I did not mess it up now. Let's just be a little obsessive about it and just reset it just to be sure. There is some land. That's always good. And what's happening in the chat? Let's have a look. It means absolutely nothing. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Well, it sounds good. Luigi La Fosa Cocomodi. I don't know, it sounds good, man. I'm telling you, you go to some local bar and you wait until it's about 2 AM and you got a couple of drinks in and you walk up to the most evil looking person in the room and you look him in the eye and you say, Luigi La Fosa Cocomodi. I tell you, you will exit that bar quicker than you were trying to get home having diarrhea. Okay, so we did not hit the clouds just yet. We are obviously still descending through 17,400 feet. Let's have a look. I want to check in the stream if this... yeah, so that's really nice. So the... let me get back to the slides. Yeah, so the bars you see there in the top of your screen, this used to not work properly because I was using the Simlink. Now I've been using the FSU IPC or something it's called. FSU IPC 7. And this links it correctly, the software for the bar that you see and the program and the flight data. So that's really nice to see that it's working. So while we are descending, I'm going to prepare a rolling cigarette. And even though we're flying out of Colombia, do not think nothing of it. It is just tobacco and rolling paper. Yes, I know you totally made this up, man. Totally made it up. So we're still, let's keep it at 1,000 feet per minute. Because we do definitely want to come down. Because it's one of the requirements for a landing. Yes, some will definitely deck you. You know what I mean. Okay, so try to keep 1,000 feet per minute there. Descending through flight level 160. And there you go. We are now at the local QNH. That's why you could see the needle jump there for a little bit. Because above, I believe in these areas it's about 18,000 feet. That is the standard altitude settings, the standard QNH. And then below 18,000 feet you are required to use the local QNH, so the local altimeter settings. So when you correct it, you can see always, you will see the altimeter jump like you did now. So that's why it all of a sudden bloop, went a little bit quick there, the big needle, the big hand. Okay, so we're at 15,000 feet. And another thing, once you are below, once you actually are below the standard QNH, but you are at local, you no longer refer to it as flight level, but it becomes feet, because it's now sort of considered feet above the ground. So we're now at 14,550 feet or something. Because this is still going well. 13.6, 13.8, so we should switch over now to the second VOR actually. Or the next, I should say. Where am I? Okay, so 110.0. And give the localizer another nudge. You can see a really tiny course correction, but it's not going to be very big. Quickly check something. Okay, oh, my bad. I accidentally hit one of the controls, so I thought maybe the gear was coming or something. So we are now 70 nautical miles in our altitude, so let's just line this up as well, so that we are on a direct course. Okay, so 68 nautical miles, the altitude is 13,000 feet. So we got about 10,000 feet to go, and we're descending 1,000 feet per minute, so it's about 13 minutes until we reach 3,000 feet. And every minute, I believe, we traverse about 5 nautical miles. So 5 times 13 would be 65, I believe. 5 times 13, so 5 times 3 is 8, excuse me, that's plus 5 times 3 is 15. Yeah, so 15 plus 50 is 65 then, right? So yeah, this should sort of work out really, actually. So this would mean that we would reach 3,000 feet exactly when we reach the final VOR. Once we reach this VOR at 3,000 feet, we're going to fly north to a heading of 006, which is also the heading of the runway exactly. But this is only 10 nautical mile, or 11, so it's not a lot. So it's going to be a challenge. Well, it's always going to be a challenge to land it really, but yeah, so there you have it. So we are now 11,600 feet. I get the feeling the weather is not going to be too much of a problem. I really hope the feeling is correct. One possible problem is speed management, because as soon as we I think actually it might be a problem. We can always fly around, but the way we're planning it now is that, let me show you the chart again, is once we reach our VOR, we're probably going to be here once we reach 3,000 feet. We got 10 nautical miles to go. I believe it takes about 40 nautical miles for the aircraft to slow down. So yeah, so we could fly, maybe, you know, just fly a little over this area, make a really big turn or whatever. Probably more going to be something like this actually. So that's a possibility, but it's always a little hard to navigate. Was there a VOR? No, so there was no VOR at this airport, right? That's the whole point. What was there? Let me just double check real quick, but I do not believe there was. Because VOR at the airport is really convenient. Then you can always find the airport if you're lost, you know. So there's the Tobago Island, that's where we're flying to. At the airport, there seems to be no VOR. You can check at the taxi chart, on the taxi chart. If there's a VOR, it would say as well, usually. But there's not going to be any VOR. Take off to south and landing to north with tailwind to 8 knots, runway 01, right hand circuit. Okay, so if you need to fly circuit, we're doing the right hand circuit. Overflight restricted below 5,000 feet over city until coastline. Well, let's not get too complicated for now. So, the question on everybody's lips is, can the frog tap dance? The answer is, hit it. Okay, so the question is going to be, are we going to be able to land this sucker in one piece? And I've done it before, so it's not that much of a challenge, but let's see, can we go a little down, like a little faster, just a little. We're still on our course. Should be around 8,000 feet, coming close to the 8,000 feet there. We got about 5,000 to go, which would mean about 5 minutes. So we might be a little early. 40 nautical miles. That would be nice if we could slow down now, but in this aircraft it is not very wise to do so. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are preparing our descent to our destination, Panama Airport. I hope you enjoyed your flight, and we hope you enjoy your freedom after disembarking from the aircraft. So the airport that we're flying to is the Albrook Marcos E. Gelabert International Airport. It is west of the center of the Panama City. Is there any other information I can find from now? The runway length does not include greater than 230 meters, 750 feet displaced thresholds on either end. You're telling me this is a short runway? If that is the case, we are definitely going to have to divert. Let me quickly run back to my chart. No, it's 6,000 feet, it's fine. Looks, no problem there. No problem at all. Okay, so we land this direction. We probably exit the runway at Bravo, or we carry on all the way to Alpha, we taxi back. And yeah, with these guys we can go to the terminal, no problem. Okay, so there are some clouds up ahead. What's the situation now? 29.6 DME. Still holding steady at 1000 feet per minute descent, and we're descending through 5,700 feet or so. So this is exciting. Let's have one more look outside, just to marvel at the view of the aircraft. There she goes. Descending, nose down. Maybe it's a little rude to just stare at the behind of the aircraft. What do you think? Okay. So these clouds do not look to be too big of a problem. It's not as massive as the clouds that we went through earlier. They were quite massive. Okay, so let's stay on the focus here. We're almost at 4,000 feet, so we got 21 DME. So 4,000 feet, so we're going to prepare the aircraft for a level flight. So we turn back to around 5,000 feet per minute descent, so we go a little slower. So 3,700 feet, 18 DME. And then once we reach the 3,000 feet, we're going to ask the artificial flight engineer. Well, let's do the descent now, really. It's probably a little late. Probably like a 98 or 99% late. Not sure.
26 inches set.
For this sake, better late than never. Here come some clouds.
Altimeters and flight instruments. Cross-checked.
3,300 feet.
On. Engine blower is low. Low.
So let's straighten out a little more.
Checks are complete.
3,200 feet. Keep on coming down, please. Distance 13.2 nautical mile. We're reaching 3,000 feet there. So we're going to engage the altitude hold. It's about 3,000 feet right there for you. Okay. Okay, so we're now going to do level flight. We're not descending, we're not climbing. Let's check the altimeter one more time. We're a little below 3,000 feet. Local QNH. Speed's dropping a little bit. And I believe we should aim for about 140 knots. And this part is a part that I have to learn a little bit. I think in the range couldn't hurt, so I'm just going to do it.
Normal. Fuel booster pumps.
There's 2 islands there.
On low.
Quickly check on the map.
Fuel tank selectors.
There you you go.
Crossfeed
So
off.
the VOR is on one of these islands, I would assume.
Down. No smoking signs. On. In-range checks complete.
No smoking signs are on, but your pilot is actually smoking. So after we fly over the VOR, we're going to fly an outbound radial of 006 degrees for about 11 nautical miles. Speed is actually picking up. It's not something that I would like. Before landing, you know what, let's give it a shot. We're going to go to the before landing, flaps 20. Hopefully this is not too much, but it's definitely going to create a lot of drag. I've heard these flaps referred to as barn doors, like they're huge and they will create a lot of serious drag, which will slow down the aircraft. Extending them at too high a speed obviously might cause damage.
20 flaps set. Please reservation, please.
4.5 nautical mile, and then we have to do a right turn.
Mixture set. Gear up and down, please. Gear
Gears
up and
coming.
down.
.5 nautical miles to the VOR. Well, it's quite misty. It's going to be a challenge.
3 greens. Browns.
So prepare to crash, everybody.
2100 RPM set. Cal flaps. Plus 3 degrees.
Speed 140 and dropping. DME 2.4 nautical mile.
ADI is on.
Still level flight to 3000 feet.
Extending lights.
This is all expected.
Lights extended and on.
DME is 2.0 nautical mile. Speed dropping 130.
Set call. Before landing checks complete.
Before landing checks complete, we're looking at flaps 20. I'm going to wait extending the flaps a little longer. 0.7 nautical mile. We should start to get ready for the turn, because this will not fully reach zero as we are above the VOR obviously. 0.5 I believe, 0.4 even. Ooh, it's cutting it really close. You see the needle start to move. We go to the right. We go to a heading of 011. This is the aircraft turning. Does not appear to turn, which is no problem. We just do this and we turn it ourselves. So we're now turning towards the runway. Keep an eye on the DME, 1.2 nautical miles. At around 11 we're going to touch down. There will be zero visibility, man. 360 and we straighten it out now. Let's have a look what we just did. We're a little to the right, but it's going to compensate. Turning back, speed 100. So let's just see if we have any kind of visual. Oh my god, man. Going to descend a little. Descend now, please. Thank you. No, it is not having it, which makes sense. And now it will. There you go. We're descending. Okay, there's a gap. There's the runway, I believe. Is that the runway? Oh, this is getting exciting. Let's disengage the autopilot altogether. If I can find the little button there you go. Autopilot disengage. Let's zoom in real quick. Looks like a runway. Or actually it's to the left. There you go. Oh, so we're quite close. Okay, so let's just go in guerrilla style. Let's trim it a little bit. Set the altimeter one final time. Some more flaps. And keep coming down. So this is not what you would call a very stable approach. I'm going flap full. Hopefully I do not break the flaps. This should cause some more drag. Okay, so let's trim it up a little bit now. A little bit of nose up. Always a little dangerous, so we're trying to aim for not too slow, but also not too high. There's the white bunny's lights. A little power back, but not too much. Let's center the view, or we're going crazy. Okay, so cabin crew, prepare for landing. Got some nice trees. Look a little bit high. But do not touch the trees, please. The tree is in the way there, man. Look at it. Okay, so now easy on the thrust. Easy on the thrust. We just set it down. Nice and easy, 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 easy. Do not float too much. Set it down now. Little bit of a crosswind landing. Oh my god. This was not a picture perfect landing, but we are down. We're definitely down, but oh man, look at this. This looks horrible. Oh man, are we going to survive? This must become a crash, look at it. And now we're going to hit the tail, look. Are you kidding me? Did we stop? Oh my god, man. Okay, I'm like beyond ashamed, man. This was a horrendous landing. Okay, let's just get off the runway and get out of the aircraft. We definitely do not deserve to be in this. On the other hand, we did land, but everybody has PTSD. So let's put up the flaps. Oh my god, man, that was a nerve-wracking touchdown there. Yes, we were a little too high. Speed was a little too high. And wasn't the apron supposed to be on our left side? Just have a look. Well, just going to take a right. Or maybe... no, I'm not really sure. Anyway, let's vacate this runway. I think I forgot to put the engine to idle immediately after touchdown, so that would probably explain why we were drifting like a race car. Okay, there's a ground personnel there. I'm gonna look away. I'm way too ashamed. Can I maybe just... there, I do not want him to see me. Oh, look at this logo. That looks cool. Okay, so we're just going to cross through all the solid lines and just choose a parking spot. And just phone my boss, and we will get someone to come and pick us up. So welcome to Panama, everybody. Hope you survived the flights. Yes, we made it to Venus. We actually did. Don't ask me how. It was a guerrilla style landing. It's more of the style that that army fighters, army pilots use. But okay, so let's set the parking brake and perform the after landing checklists, please. Let's open up the window because I believe I probably just shit my pants earlier. It's gonna be smelling horrible in here. And let's do the other side as well. Get some airflow going. So after checklist, after landing, checklist complete. We also believe there is parking. They're going to power down the aircraft completely. See if I can open up the doors. And usually the flight simulator will consider it end of flight. It will pop up a little menu. We're just going to click it away. So the front cabin exit is opening, the cargo hold may open, and the main cabin exit and the main cabin stairs may also come. So the aircraft is now powered down. So the main cabin stairs coming and the front cabin stairs are also deploying. Which are right here. Let's get this chair out of the way first. So the flight time was 1 hour 21 minutes 51 seconds. For some reason it says 1 day takeoff. What, no landing? Sure, so we're just going to press continue for a sec. Okay, so that looks all in order. Hey, wait, oh no, he closed the door now. Well, they meant well, you know. Main cabin exit door may open, cargo holds may open, front cabin exit may open. That is now open, and then we deploy the stairs. And that's it. They close the windows too. Oh, they left those open. Oh, that's good. That's pretty nice. Okay, so there she is. Hopefully in one piece. So we'll look outside. Maybe try the showcase and reset the position. Otherwise you're going to get sick after all. So there we are, parked safe and sound in Panama City. Well, this time at least we did not crash, so practice makes perfect. So we're definitely going to fly this on the stream a whole bunch of times again. And maybe some other day I will also do some Airbus flights as well, because I always really like those too. But as of lately I've been doing a lot of these, basically one flight a day I believe, just streaming it and just seeing, you know, winging it, seeing it, see how it goes. And yeah, you know, put some pressure on it, you know what I mean. And I like that. So thank you very much for checking. Venus, you were my special guest. Thank you very much for showing up. Definitely appreciate it. I had a good time. And for you, Venus, I'm just going to say, you know, just going to be really short. All I can say actually is, where did it go, man? What did you say? Oich la fosa coco muri. Okay, so on that note, everybody, thank you for checking. If you check this later, consider yourself really lucky, because it looks like you found the very lost channel on the YouTube. So it means you've reached legendary level, you know, if you actually also come to this little channel where hardly anything is going on. So no, really thank you for checking it out, You have a really good evening, and everybody be kind to one another. I'm your personal funky sim pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I was your captain for today. See you next time. Bye bye.